I'm Kane the Schwab Watson. Another exciting episode. I mean, sports never stops, and we're here to bring it to you again this week.
Yes, today's lineup, we have Mr. Butler, Craig Butler, the man who's responsible for the career of Leon Bailey, the first Jamaican to represent us in the Bundesliga in Germany.
I mean, doing big things, career stretching all across Europe.
Now in England.
Representing Aston Villa.
Yes.
Good things, playing with some elite level ballers like Philippe Coutinho. But
we'll be speaking with him a little bit later in the show. You know, he will tell us about the journey with both him and Bailey and also the state of football. I know he's currently the coach of Mona High School. And, you know, they they had some incident there, so we will discuss that with him a little bit later in the show. But now we have to move on to the headlines and the big thing this weekend as well. You know, Super Bowl 56.
It's a Super Bowl weekend, and
yes.
You know, American sports and American hype centered around the sports, and Super Bowl is probably one of the biggest sporting events in the world. Single sporting event in the world. We all know World Cup is
the number one.
Is at the top level, but NFL definitely pulls a lot of supporters.
Yes, and we see the Cincinnati will be taking on the LA Rams. The LA Rams will be at home tomorrow. You know, this is the second time in history, you know, you find a team having home field advantage. You know, last year we saw Brady had it in Tampa Bay having home field advantage. Now this year we see the Rams having it, but I think the results will be a little bit different this year because I'm going with the upsetter. I'm going against the odds. No, I'm picking the Bengals because Joe Burrow, for some reason, Jamar Chase and Mr. Nixon, you know, that the offensive power. I'm going with the youngsters this time around. You know, Aaron, I know the Rams are heavily favored to win this because of the defense and the stars that they have on the offensive side of the ball as well. You know, Cooper Kupp, I think he is definitely the best receiver in the NFL to date. And Odell Beckham, you know, is famous for those one-handed catches and so forth.
Highlight reel.
Yes,
but I think they're heavily favored because I'm picking them. You know, I tend to have good picks, so I'm going with the Rams. Not only because of the star power, but also on the defensive end. I think Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey will have a big game, and I think the defense will trump whatever offense Joe Burrow will come with. And Joe Burrow, prime time.
Yeah, he's a big time.
He's winning from college and he's big time.
Yeah, big time player.
I mean, the weapons on the offensive and on the defensive end for Rams.
And don't leave out the kicker. You know, when Tom Brady won his first title, it wasn't really Tom Brady, it was Adam Vinatieri.
Who set up that last drive? That was the last drive.
That was by Tom, but this kicker here is something special. He's also a rookie, something special. You know, they won the first two games off the foot of this kicker. So
kicking it from 50-60.
Oh my.
Yeah, he's at home. So
yes. Big time.
I'm going with the Rams 21-17.
Yes. I'm going with an overtime victory. You know, I'm going with the overtime victory, 24-21. You know, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase with that big catch over Jalen Ramsey. I hope Jalen don't try to take him on. And I think, you know, the best formula for the Rams is for them to double team that youngster, you know, and make Jalen take over Nixon. But if they try to put Jalen and Jamar Chase, I think it's going to be a field day.
This sounds like a premonition. Or either a nightmare.
If you're a betting man, you know, and you want to make some money, I think you should go with Cincinnati tomorrow.
I'm giving you LA Rams 21-17.
All right.
So we'll see how that goes. But it should be
exciting.
An exciting match.
Even the halftime show, you know.
Halftime show lineup with Eminem, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg. I'm missing somebody. Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, real old school lineup there.
Old school and new school. Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick is a little bit old school.
And I mean, Super Bowl isn't the Super Bowl without the commercials. So imagine a $1 million slot to feature for like 10 seconds, 30 seconds on a commercial.
You know, definitely Tom gonna show him face in some commercial.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's a goat right there.
Yeah, finally retiring from football. Well, it's not really finalized still, you know, I'm still talking about what if and all of that. But we know he's out. It's time to go.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. But probably a part of me wants him to
continue.
So
the rumors have it that him going San Fran, him want retire in San Francisco, because Joe Montana and San Fran is his. That was a team growing up, and they need a QB right now because of that this man showing by this
Garoppolo.
Yes,
Jimmy G, and then Jimmy G was his replacement in New England.
Was supposed to be the replacement.
Was supposed to be his replacement in New England. So I mean, a lot of storyline right there, but I mean, it's good for TV. But tomorrow, definitely, what's going to be good for TV is the Super Bowl.
6:30, the pre-game show and everything starts at 6:30. So
Americans know how to hype up the sport and get the viewership.
Yes. So, and we also have some other incidents in the NFL in terms of racism and all that. But we will discuss it a little bit later in the show. All right, but we're going on to the NBA. We had a big trade that went on
just before the deadline.
Whoa, right before the deadline.
And just before you get to the big trade, we also had a big no trade. The only team to not trade was the Lakers, who are dismal at this point in time. But before we touch on the Lakers, we have to touch on the actual trades that took place.
Yeah, man.
And the big one that was
James Harden going to Philadelphia. Getting back with the GM Murray. For me, I'm quite happy for the Nets because the Nets got Ben Simmons and Steph Curry. Along with Drummond, Andre Drummond. So I thought that Nets won that trade. James Harden is done, if you ask me. I've never liked him. I think he's overrated. He doesn't play any defense, and he's just an offensive man that dribbles a lot. I'm wondering when MB is going to get the ball, maybe with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. I think that combination won't last more than 2 years, if you ask me. And I'm very and the next thing is, these players now, it's going to be a problem with the owners. You can't just not honor your contract, and that's a big issue with me. You sign on the dotted line. I think that you should honor your contract. You force him way out of Houston. Had problems with CP3 in Houston, had problems with Westbrook. Now came to New Jersey Nets, regardless of the Kyrie issue. Brooklyn Nets, sorry. Jason Kidd, sorry. But
Brooklyn Nets
did the same thing in Brooklyn, and I don't like it. It doesn't look good, and I think they're gonna have a lockout in the NBA very soon,
and
because
it comes down to what we were saying before, with players having more power now versus before, when owners used to have a problem. We know at what stage we draw the line, because players need to have power. But how much power do you give players? And to say Harden basically pulling all these strings.
And faking injury as well.
Even Ben Simmons.
Same thing.
Getting a new start in Brooklyn. Let's see what he does with his second chance, because he's kind of labeled as a liability in terms of
shooting,
being labeled also as a bad teammate. I mean, his shooting is for him personally to work on. And we've seen players get better jump shots.
Like LeBron, for example.
But LeBron
in year 18 improved the jump shot.
Year 18,
year 18. That's about year 18. I see him making fadeaways now. I didn't see that in the finals.
He has no pressure on him now, so he's doing doing what he likes.
But what do you think about Ben Simmons overall going to the New Jersey Nets in terms of his defense and
I think
the length and height and the Philip Drummond
as a rebounder,
Andre Drummond as a rebounder? What do you think? What's your thoughts on the whole trade?
Given that they need time to gel, but they definitely have talent, and they have two top scoring talents in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, who we see can play together.
Also Curry is also a good addition.
Coming off
in
the
terms
bench,
of shooting,
definitely can give you 10 to 15 points. Not a slouch on the defensive end. Andre Drummond playing a role. I mean, Nets have.
So who won the trade for you?
None of them.
What you think is equal?
I mean, I think they both lost.
They both lost in the
because you get rid of one liability and you get the next liability. We don't know. We're in the state where it's unknown. So right now it's a guess game to who actually got better. Philly, gave up Seth Curry.
And two draft round
picks, future draft round picks, to get Harden, who's an ISO player, to play with another ISO player, Embiid, who are two not so quick players. They're good cerebral. They know the IQ. Both of them injury prone. So where Philly go from here? I don't know. And everybody knows my take on Philly's coach.
Oh.
So I don't see Philly going anywhere. And Embiid is definitely a talent.
Yeah, he's a talent.
He needs to produce.
Yes.
I mean, Anthony Davis is a talent. And we're seeing him. They call him Anthony Day to Davis. Day-to-day Davis. Yeah. So, I mean, who wins the trade? Depends on who stays healthy.
Yeah.
I think overall I'll give Brooklyn the edge.
Without a doubt. Any team that gets James Harden is going to be a liability. James Harden for me is a one-way player. He's a predictable player somewhat. You know, he's either driving to the rim or shooting a step back three. In crunch time, tends to disappear. He did it in the finals against LeBron in 2012, OKC versus the Heat. He's a no-show at Houston in Houston against the Spurs. I don't rate James Harden. I think he's a predictable player.
They both traded within their conference.
Exactly.
So
that's the next problem. But here why I think New Jersey is going to reach the finals here. Defense. And we all know that defense is the most important thing in sport. Generally, no matter which sport you pick, you must have that ability to defend.
Yeah.
There's no offensive side with defense has ever won the NBA title. No way.
You have to have
defense. And Ben Simmons is 6'10". Kevin Durant is 6'11", a good defender as well. Andre Drummond is also 7 foot, a good defender. So I think the Nets has gotten much better because that
Blake Griffin is still there.
Blake Griffin is still there, and then they have
Aldridge. They have size,
and then they have outside shooting.
They have outside shooting. Seth Curry,
and then they had. Well, I have to give Kevin Durant he's the best player in the league now. Even though I think he's soft, a soft player.
Right now, I think that's changing.
You think him getting a little tougher?
No, I think being the best player in the league.
So who's the best player in the league?
Right now, I'm watching Giannis, and Giannis is
a beast.
He's a beast.
And
he's improving his jump shot, and his IQ is improving on the game. He's turning into.
So you think Milwaukee is the team to beat this year?
They're defending champions, but as I said, depends on who stays healthy. I think Brooklyn will be in the mix.
All right.
If KD can stay healthy with that chip on his shoulder, and we see the All-Star game coming up with all these picks and these players. We're not used to this format. We're used to the old school format where LeBron picked Giannis first, then Kevin Durant picked.
Yeah.
I don't remember who he picked.
And James Harden was left on the board.
And then both of them looking at each other.
Yeah.
And LeBron, I mean, it's good for TV. It's all the media hype. And
so we're looking forward to an exciting finish at the NBA
the second half of the season going forward, and then we'll have more predictions coming up after we see who finishes and positions themselves and who stays healthy, and that's key in sports. So,
yes, that's key. And Phoenix is doing great things over there.
Phoenix is playing
good basketball.
Playoff basketball.
All right, but we have to touch on this big topic, track and field. This is our sport here in Jamaica. But we say one of the greats retired over the week, Justin Gatlin.
Yeah.
Where do you place him in terms of great? In terms of greatness, Mr. Gatlin finally retiring at the age of 40 years.
Serving 2 suspensions, coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, running quality times. Not only at a young age, in his mid-30s. Perennial winner, medals, always on the podium. I mean, he's definitely a great. He's up there. Where do I rank him?
Yeah.
He's definitely top 10. Top 10.
Oh, top 10.
He's top 10.
He's out of the 5.
5 is tough. 5 is tough because
longevity
longevity. I mean,
yeah.
Well, when you look on it, you have to first break it down in terms of American. Where does he finish in? Because we all know who the greatest sprinter is.
Yes.
That is without a doubt. We know who the GOAT is.
On the male side, yes.
On the male side. On the female side, it's kind of tougher, but on the male side, that is no question. But Justin Gatlin with the likes of Jesse Owens, Maurice Green. I mean, American, he's up there. I'd put him probably 3rd behind those two. Maurice Green was
Carl Lewis.
How could I forget?
Carl why Lewis? You probably forget? It's Carl Lewis. Carl Lewis. Easy name to not remember him because of the whole the era in terms of the doping and the drugs. A lot of people tend to omit that little time there. You know, Ben Johnson, Carl Lewis.
You know, Carl Lewis always giving Jamaican some form of side eye.
Yeah, bulletin board material, you know.
Always saying, oh, Jamaicans do this and pointing fingers, but Carl Lewis, could I forget Carl Lewis?
Yeah, long jump.
Carl Lewis is the
number one
American sprinter. Maurice Green is up there, just wins. But Justin Gatlin, elite sprinter.
What do you think about this drug thing? You think it's overblown, you know, and test positive and
I mean,
what do you think?
There's a list.
Yeah.
And you have to stick to the list. It's rules. It's like the curfew. I mean, some people go past the curfew and don't get caught. Some people know how to get around it. But track and field is a very demanding sport on the body.
Yeah. So
and these athletes
to recover.
have to take supplements, vitamins. And there's a list where you know what to take and what not to take.
Yeah.
And then you have exemptions because I mean, just to point finger on Justin Gatlin alone, we have had sprinters that has test positive before. I mean, we can call a host of names, what they actually do test positive for are illegal substances, but some may not be performance enhancing or be taken to enhance performance, but it's on the list.
Yes,
and you're not supposed to take it. I know what to put in your body. So
it sounds like you don't hold it against him. It sounds like you give him a pass.
I don't give him a pass.
You don't give him a pass?
Because he's guilty. But for those who...
So is that X against his name?
You have people who take it and don't
get caught.
Don't get caught. That don't mean they're innocent.
Yeah,
and then with the time, as I said, going back to Carl Lewis, in his time, everybody was on it.
Yes.
Everybody was on it. Yes. They even use Ben Johnson as a scapegoat. And everybody in that race was probably on some form of performance. But we need the sport to clean up. I going forward with the movement.
Some people say let people take drugs and whoever win, you know? Level the playing field because you have some... But you know, this is my problem too, you know. You said that everybody was on it and it's just some people that they choose to. And you know the world is not level. Nothing is ever fair. It's the same thing with baseball. Barry Bonds. How can you keep this man out of the Hall of Fame? Sorry to stray from the track and field talk, but that's another thing that everybody was on it in the 90s and the 80s. You know, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, the home run chase.
All of these American sports.
Yeah, and for you to single out Barry Bonds and to hold that against him when other people came out and say XYZ and they're in the Hall of Fame of baseball. And this man is probably top 3 in terms of hitting, Virgin.
Yeah.
I watched this man in the 2002 against the Angels. Virgin, the man hit a home run in the 6th inning. In the 9th inning, game 6. Almost winning the title, but the Angels was just destined. It was just destined for them to win. But how can you keep that man out of the Hall of Fame when everybody in that time was taking steroids?
And you can see it on their body. From what the transformation from...
You know, see Sammy Sosa, the man face look, man.
Oh gosh.
But I'm not gonna call up the New York Yankees name them because my team. But you don't know. You know how it works already. It's disappointed, man.
But Justin Gatlin definitely has an asterisk beside his name.
Yeah.
But come back, clean,
clean,
in medal. Next year again, in medal.
Medal again.
Come and run again, a medal. After all of this.
Yeah.
But he's a great sprinter, and I mean he had an illustrious career.
Yeah,
and he provided rival for the big man. I wouldn't say much of a rival,
but excitement for us here, Jamaica. Excitement for us here, Jamaica. Yeah. I know what I was like, we hate Justin, we hate him, but we love the rivalry.
We love the rivalry and the chirping, the chirping, and it's good for the sport.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, so Maurice being frightened us off for Paul, man. Jesus, peace. You remember that? Maurice being walked down the field and start us and Asafa goes draw back in himself. You know, it's good. It's good show for sports, you know. And
his longevity, as I said, is definitely a plus.
Yeah,
over the years. So that's after Justin Gatlin. Well, in track and field, we see the indoor season kicking off. We see a lot of Jamaicans on the scene locally and abroad, college meets all over. So the season is developing traction and for a big world championship.
Well, we have a lot of female sprinters coming out. I say Kevona Davis is back. You know, she was.
We always have that on the female side.
Yeah.
But what I'm really truly impressed with, they say Jamaica is kind of a sprint factory. I think we're a sprint hurdling factory, or turning into. Because both male and female side are seen where we're putting out output that it's world class.
Yeah.
We have like 6 to 8 athletes, and that's probably limiting it. We probably have more. We see the old guy we know on the male side. We have Omar McLeod, Hansi Parchment, Ronald Levy. We see youngsters coming up with Thomas Lemonius. Female side, Megan Tapper Simmons, Brittany Anderson,
Daniel
Williams with a new world leading time. And I mean, to make that team the final 3 is going to be tough. But I mean, I think we're a sprint hurling factory.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
the lineup
to the
and the
World
times.
Championship for real.
Yeah, the indoor season, we see Elaine kicking off, Shelley and running, and I mean, it's going to be an exciting season. Camperdown Classics
currently going on.
Gibson Makukrele is coming up February 26th, 27th.
Yeah.
At the end of this month, the last Saturday of this month. So track and field season is gearing up and moving forward. And boys and girls champs, we all know that is
the premier event.
That is our local Olympics.
And also internationally, you know.
We people come and watch that.
Yeah, I want to tell you, boys and girls champs probably have more people in the stadium than at World Championships at times, you know.
One thing I know,
it's probably the biggest track and field event in the world in terms of spectator viewership. And
I enjoy going to boys and girls champs. I will sit in my seat and watch like this, and the vibes coming up from high school, because you all know I went to the greatest high school in Jamaica. We have the most titles in boys and girls championships, but I mean, just to see the rivalry and the competition, friendly rivalry between boys schools, the girls schools, the competition, the times where we see. I remember when the class 3 record was probably 11's flat. These guys class 3 running 10-6, 10-7.
Yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal, and we're moving from strength to strength, both male and female. And the best thing they have done was join both of them, boys and girls champs.
Yes. In 2000, they had a joint time. It was good because the girls champs didn't have much of a turnout.
And he also said, I mean, this crowd that boys and girls champs
it's the biggest high school event in the world.
The only time I see stadium as back is Reggae Boys qualification.
1998.
1998.
97.
I was there.
November 1997.
Yeah. And even now, Gibson Makukrele is allowed 10,000 fans.
Oh, you want to go there right away? You want to talk about the vaccination and who's allowed
10,000 fans. Track and field is allowed 10,000 fans for a longer event when the Reggae Boys, zero fans. And the Reggae Girls now 2,500. What if more people want to go and watch Reggae Girls? February 17th we play Bermuda. I mean, the Reggae Girls coming up have a chance. Khadija Shah, top talent. But
what is happening with this world? It don't make any sense to me. Why 2.5 and why 10,000? What is it?
Why from 0 to 2.5? No, you announce 0, then you announce 10,000, then you limit it to 2.5. And the football match is a shorter event.
Yes.
And track and field
is a whole day kind of event, you know, so you're giving more time for the so-called thing to spread.
I don't know if my brain don't process all of that or my eyes wide shut. And as I said, it's a longer event with more participants.
I don't know why you bring up this thing, you know. Come on, talk about Caymanas Park, you know. No.
People, spectators at Caymanas Park.
It was open for right through. So so what is it? Is it that Caymanas Park? Is that the government is getting some whenever you go and bet, is that they're getting a percentage and they're not getting a percentage from the football? Why did they allow Caymanas Park spectators from ever since and then disallow
and then again
football and other sporting events? No,
whatever reason they can come up with, they can say it's the venue somewhere different, but the National Stadium, not to sidetrack from Caymanas Park, but the National Stadium is the same place where the football match is keeping and the track and field event.
Yes.
And you're hosting 2 events. One is lasting longer than one. one has way more participants because it's a relay.
Yeah.
So you know that relay teams carry 46 persons.
Yeah.
You have a host of relay teams, relays running. So you'll have, for even one race, you can have up to 8 teams, 8 fours, 32. 32 persons.
That's correct.
In one race. And then a football match, 11 plus a staff, probably 32 persons out there alone for 90 minutes. But yet still you have race after race after race with 32 different persons versus hosting a football match for, let's say, football match lasts 90 minutes, halftime, prep, all of that, a 2-hour period where everybody is out there at the same time versus a track and field, what is lasting 6 hours with thousands of participants, and you allow 10,000 people in, and football match, you have 0, now you put it to 2-5. But, I mean...
Something's definitely funny, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's... People want to watch reggae boys. People want to watch reggae girls.
Important qualification.
World Cup qualify.
World Cup qualification.
I mean, if we qualify for World Cup, reggae boys qualify for World Cup. It's a national holiday.
Of course.
I remember when we qualified for World Cup, PJ Patterson said, no work.
No school.
No school. Big up PJ Patterson for that.
Of course.
I got the day off on Monday. But yeah.
That is true. That is true. Mm-hmm. And it's the biggest event. Definitely the biggest event. Okay. Welcome. This is the man who is responsible for Mr. Bailey's career. Leon Bailey. Is this Mr. Butler we have here? This is Mr. Butler. Welcome to Primal Sports.
Been awaiting your arrival, Sir Butler.
Hi, how are you, madam? Yes, I hear you well. You can hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you very well. I know you probably had a busy day. We expected you earlier, but we understand that, you have commitments and you're probably coaching, as we know.
Yeah, I had a practice game, Wolmer's Colts versus Mona, so yeah, we had a game. Yeah, so.
How did that game go?
We won 2-1, but we should have won by more.
Oh,
but it was a good game.
I always say ugly win is better than a pretty loss.
Oh, we had just a lot of chances.
Yeah.
We need to work on converting those chances so the scores actually reflect the game, the control of the game,
Oh, so you're in charge for Pepsi and Colts and Manning Cup at Mona?
Yeah, all football.
All okay. You're the technical director.
Yeah, it's the same that is needed within the national program, because if you have a kid that is learning one system and one way of playing from one coach at U13, when he transitions into U16, you'll have to go and learn a different one, and then he transitions to Manning Cup, you'll be confused. So you have to really set the system from when they were younger, and then they bring it through. So it's the same. That's what we do with the kids at Mona. In the Manning Cup this year, we had, I think, 2 13-year-olds playing.
Yeah.
So you just keep it going.
Because that was one of the questions I would ask you, because it's no secret that our national program needs work. We all see the results, we all see the direction going. And I mean, you as an elite coach, and I mean, being around football, so to say, if you were the president of JFF, what things you would do to put in place for things to move in a better direction, so to say? Not because, no system is perfect and you'll have ups and downs, but we need to move forward as a program in the JFF and footballing in Jamaica. So if you were the president, what would you do differently, remain the same? What changes, so to say?
The truth of it, I don't want to become the president. That's the first thing. Because to be a president, you have to be very political. And I'm far from being political. I don't know how to not tell the truth. So if telling the truth would mean I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings, I'm still going to tell the truth,
Yeah.
But what is needed for the program to move forward is a unity of purpose from the youth all the way through to the senior team, so that we can have a proper system in place that were, and people use this word name system. So, and they're using it now loosely, because when I first brought it up, they didn't understand. So you get a lot of definitions now going around as to what a system is. So let me change the word and put it in a very simple way. We need a way of understanding that is going to be consistent with what our genetical strengths are. So if we have fast players, we need to look at how we can use that speed in a methodological way that everybody understands in the football. If we have technical players, we should also be looking at how we can use that technical side to us. If we have strong tenacity, all of that. So when you put that all together, it should result in a system. Now, I have done the work already. And so that is why you have Leon Bailey's coming out, two-footed, Kemar Reed's coming out, Martin Davis, Romario Williams, so many players that have come through the Phoenix program. You can know them. They're two-footed, they're strong, they're fast, they're intelligent, and very skillful. Yeah? So,
okay. Craig, you mentioned Martin Davis. That's the footballer from Georges, right?
Yes.
Where is he currently playing now?
He's in Malta.
Malta.
Okay.
Are you still with us? Oh yeah, we're back with us.
So tell us about the start of your whole program. What inspired you? Tell us about the start of that. The whole Phoenix movement and Leon Bailey and all of these players that you...
It's the same thing, What happened was, I was working at, finished with football, Played my games, coached, all of that. But I got into corporate. I was a GM for Toshiba. And young son at the time, Kyle, he said he wanted to become a professional footballer. Let me pull over so we can have some time to talk properly without traffic.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Let me pull over. Yeah, so Kyle wanted to become a professional footballer. So he said, Daddy, I want to play football. So I said, okay, you go to Stella Maris, pull over. Let's go down a little. Go to Stella Maris and play football. He says, no, Daddy. They only play football for 2 hours a week at Stella Maris, and therefore I won't have enough training time if I want to be as good as Ronaldinho. Because back that time, Ronaldinho was the star,
Yeah.
So I said, so what you want me to do? So what you want me to do? He said, Daddy, I want you to coach me. So, I thought about it. And I looked around and I said to myself, how many really qualified coaches are here? Because at that time, people were coaching football. It wasn't a paid job. So whoever coached is either somebody who have nothing else to do or a man just sitting by the side of the road, basically, You would have one or two who did it for the love of the game, but mostly people were very uneducated in the sport of football. So I started to work with Kyle, and then, all the others started to come out of the woodwork from the Stella Maris prep, then kids from up in Norfolk and Cherry Gardens, kids from Cassava Peace, Grant Spend. Before I knew it, I had like 200 kids just running up and down. Yeah. So, when you have that happening and you have kids from inner city, you will inadvertently end up with kids that a parent may die. We have to go down for more of this dog barking. A parent who may die and they come coach. My mother just died of an aneurysm. I don't have anywhere to go. And I would say, okay, jump in the back of the Jeep. And it would go on. Another one, his father used to beat him badly. Say, okay, jump in the back of the Jeep. Another one, he saw 8 people get killed in front of him. Yeah. So I said, okay, jump in the back of it. Before I knew it, I'd adopted 23 children. I needed now, 23. I needed now a solution as to how I was going to make these kids get a life. You know, I didn't have the money to send all of them to college. I didn't have the money to help.
23 is a big number, you know.
That's 2 football, 2 starting 11s and a referee. Yeah.
So I started to think, okay, we didn't make it to World Cup. We only made it to 1 World Cup. Why? Why, when we're the fastest human beings on the planet, we can't make it to the World Cup? What are we doing wrong? So I said, okay, I'm going to take 3 of my best, and I'm going to leave the academy and my young daughter, Casey, in the hands of a 15-year-old, Travis, one of our top players. And I took Kyle, who was the smartest. Kyle is brilliant. Leon, who was the bravest, and Kivon Sharkey, who was the strongest. And we decided to be the pioneers for Phoenix in Europe. We went on a plane, a 1-way ticket, and the goal was to let Europe know what we can do as a nation, and at the same time, for me to learn as much as I can from them about how they consistently make it to World Cups, how they develop their players, to use it back in my system, my family, my Jamaica, and make us better. So while the boys were there learning, we went to Genk. I was a coach at Genk for 2 years, in an understudy program. They call it a practicum, where I'm there working with them, learning. Went to Slovakia for 6 months, went to Ajax for 6 months, went to Bayern Munich. And so I was learning, and I realized they train for 11 and a half months a year, right?
11.5 months.
11 and a half months out of the year. Any kid who wants to be a professional footballer in the club in Europe is training for 11 and a half months every year. Meanwhile, in Jamaica, if you're a good footballer, you go to a high school, then you're going to train for 3 months playing Manning Cup.
Yeah.
Then you're going to train for 3 months doing track and field. And they're going to train for 3 months doing cricket. So you become a jack of all trades and a master of none, because the Europeans, who are naturally slower than us, etc., are training 3 times more. So by the time they reach 16, 17, Europeans catch us up with strength, speed, and technique and tactics, and go past us. So we know we don't get better, we just get bigger. And that is one of the biggest problems we have, especially with schoolboy football, because schoolboy football is geared at how can we win versus how can we let the player win.
Improve, become better technical players.
Exactly. The player wins when he becomes a professional player, or he uses football as a vehicle of advancement for his career, his life. But
I agree.
So many players play schoolboy sports, and when they're done, they're on the street begging a bus fare because they can't get a job. And there's nothing there left for them. And then they have not developed technically enough to take the next step. Because, for example, in prep school, right, Tommy is a good player. He can kick well with his left foot. So when he gets the ball on his right foot, Tommy cuts the ball off of his right and shoots with his left. And he scores. If he wins the final of prep school doing that, what is the coaches in prep school and the whole fans and parents going to do? They're going to run on the field and celebrate, correct? You with me?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, with you,
Now, if he goes to Pepsi and do the same thing, they're going to still celebrate. If he goes to Colts and Manning Cup and do the same thing, they're going to celebrate. He wins Olivia Shield doing it. You're going to celebrate. Then he becomes a Tyree Magee, Alex Marshall, right? All of those players who can only use one foot.
Yeah.
And so when they try to go to the next level, the professional level, and the coaches and the opponents watch the tape and realize he can only dribble down his left side, they say, okay, all we have to do to stop him is just block the left side, give him the right side, and he can't do nothing with the right foot. And there goes his professional career.
Meanwhile, can't transition to the next level.
Can't transition to the next level. So meanwhile, all the school is still winning. And they're happy, and old boys are beating their chests. Yeah?
The school is winning and the player is basically losing.
So they're sacrificing all of that, and as you said, can't transition to the next level. It stops right there at Manning Cup level.
Correct.
Next year can go to Premier League, which again, it's stuck right there.
So you said the issue is technical development. That's one of the main issues.
Development, not just technical, development period. You have people that come out of high school, can't read. You have people that come out of high school, cannot speak in front of a camera.
Yeah.
They don't have moral and social, they don't get moral and social responsibility as a part of their educational program. So you have national players go to England and they're doing really well, and somebody say, accept a package with weed in there. And they accept it, and the police bust them. Why? Because they didn't get a moral compass. Nobody was telling them, listen, when you're a role model, you have to do these things. You get me?
It's not only on the field of play, off the field, you have to conduct yourself as a professional.
Yeah.
Craig, let me ask you something. What do you think about the fields that we play on? Is that a part of the problem as well?
No.
The pitch?
I developed Leon Bailey, Kyle Butler, Kemar Reed, the whole of them, Kevin Atkinson, on the worst of fields. It makes them better players. If you can dribble on the Jamaican field, when you get a carpet grass to dribble on, you know, your ball control is impeccable. You ever see how Leon ball control is? Or any player that I built? You guys saw Mona play this year?
I didn't get to watch him.
But hold on. But what about we competing here locally? You said Leon internationally, but what about the team here? Is it good for us to play on that pitch here? Isn't that a disadvantage for Leon to come back and play on a Jamaican turf? Is it a disadvantage to him or the team itself?
When Leon comes back to play on the Jamaican turf, he's playing on the national stadium. And the national stadium is a good field.
Yeah.
Or he's training on the turf field up at UA. So that's a good field. Professionals can play on that. The challenge that I have is not the fields, it's the coaches.
Yeah.
It's not setting up a system of transition from youth all the way up.
Yeah,
you have to understand enough. How long do you think you get for international break each time?
Week and a half, 2 weeks.
Exactly. Now, so how many coaches you think can teach anyone anything in that week and a half, 2 weeks? First of all, the first day you're on a flight. Second day, you're in jet lag from flying 9 hours from Europe. Yeah? So third day you train. The next day or two is the game. And then after that, you're flying back. So you really don't have any... flight to the game. You really don't have any time to institute a system. So where does the system come from? It comes from the youth. When Leon comes back to Phoenix, and he goes into the right wing position, he knows exactly where he's to run. He knows exactly where he's going to get the ball. He knows exactly who is going to pass to him because he grew up in the Phoenix system.
Yeah.
It's easy for him. People say that Leon
understand his role.
Huh?
He understand his role based on what he's been taught.
Yeah, it's not just him understanding his role. Everybody else understands the role too, because one system.
So now, when it sound like why you don't run for the technical director position for JFF? Cause I like how you're sounding on. You're a man in one system.
Yeah, but there are a few things. I would always be willing to help.
You kind of got low a while ago. Did you touch something on the phone?
Yeah, no, I didn't. You can hear him. I said no. I will always be willing to help. I'll always be willing to start it, but understand that part of my business is building and transferring players, a major part now. So my money is made from building and transferring and managing players. So I can't leave my job managing Leon's thing where if he need a fork, I deal with it. Or if we're looking at endorsement contracts with telecommunication giants to come and sit down and coach every day in Jamaica. Yeah? I've taken on Mona High School just to set an example of what a system should look like so others can pattern it. Sometimes you have to beat them in order for them to understand. So that's why I
agree with you. I agree with you. And I tell you, I'm looking forward to the next 2 years with you at Mona, because I see a big change. I never hear Mona yet to play football, and I think you kind of promote them.
Coach, I want to ask the coach a question.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Craig, people are calling in trying to get a word into you, but we're not putting any calls through at the moment because we want to ask you some questions. I'm going to ask on behalf of the callers. There's one caller who wants to know directly, ask you the question. Do you think you could coach the national team, and would you do a better job?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I want. I want the fort. I like the forthrightness, because I think there's a deficiency in that thing, and that's kind of why people want to hear what you have to say, because the motivation I see in the Mona players, I don't see it in any other high school, and you have accomplished in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Jamaica needs now. So I think it's important for you to say if you're available for the job and if you think you could do the job.
Well, I'm sure that I can do it. I'm always available to help now, but I do not want it as a long-term project. I think that, you see, the biggest thing, you know when you remember the story of Joseph and his brothers? If in the Bible?
Yeah.
Very much. Very much.
Yeah? Where his 11 other brothers sold him into slavery, basically, because they were jealous of him and his father had loved him very much. Yeah. But it happened for a reason. Yeah? Because he went and lived. Yeah, he went and lived in the land of Egypt. He went and eventually became Pharaoh's right hand, and he was able to save Israel because he was able to get food, grains for them that was stored in Egypt because of his position. Now, I have become, in all due respect, I've transcended Jamaica in football. I'm really not here anymore. You know, I deal with my management company is number 19th in the world in terms of player management, you know, and volume of sales and transfers and players to manage and so on. And we have developed, Phoenix is the number 1 privately owned football academy in the world ranking by FIFA.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We have gone to England and beat the U19 FA Cup champions, scoring 7 goals on them, and beat the league champions, scoring 5 goals on them, Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. So your national team coach was the under-19 coach at Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah.
Current coach, Paul. Yeah? So if our academy players are doing that and they're under 20, then it should be an easy transition for those players into the national team, especially at the U20 level. But I can almost guarantee you half and 3/4 of them won't be called.
Yes.
Yeah?
It sounds like for political reasons.
Exactly. No, them just don't like Craig. Yeah. The point of it, though, is that if we can get Paul and Speed and all of the other guys to work together as a team, and I can show them what I learned. Yeah? Because it doesn't mean I'm a better coach.
No.
Well, it does. But it doesn't mean that.
it doesn't mean that, of course.
If a man wants to be the best mechanic for Audis, yeah, and he stays in Jamaica and learns, and another man goes to where they manufacture Audis, and he goes and he studies with them and where they manufacture Audis.
Yeah,
and he learns for a long period of time. When that man comes back, he's gonna know things about the Audi that the Jamaican mechanic not going to know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean that even the Jamaican mechanic might be smarter than him, you know.
Yeah.
But he's exposed and know. So what you need to do is to learn. One of the things I did as a kid is, if I know you have a little experience in something, I sit down and I soak it up.
Yeah.
I met Caroline's room in nigga. I sit down with the man for 3 hours straight and I soak up every word that came out of his mouth.
Yeah.
George Mendes, who is Cristiano Ronaldo's manager and the biggest manager in the world, I went to his house like 4 or 5 times and I would just sit down and listen.
Yeah.
I not tell him nothing. I just want to hear. Tell me. Give me, make me soak it up. But our problem as Jamaicans is this. Oh, Butler, you think you know everything, so yo, boy, man, you're too arrogant. Okay, I'm arrogant. Fine, no problem.
Yeah, but
still know more than you.
Yeah, still have to learn and share knowledge. You have to learn from people that.
Yeah, take the good now. When I was a youngster, Bradley Stewart used to be our coach for 1 year at JC in Monaco. Yeah. I never hear a man cuss more bad word as a coach than Bradley Stewart. When I wasn't listening to the bad words. I was listening to what he knew technically at the time and try and use it, take the good with the bad. Yeah. Right? For me, I have gone through so much with Kasaf and JFF over the years, and I've still had to go through and make it, and I've made it on my own for my academy and my team, that I've become less tolerant. I'm not tolerant of foolishness, so I'm not going to accept it. So it would not make me the best candidate for a presidency role in the JFF.
Craig, just one second. I'd like to tell viewers that we won't be taking any calls until after the interview because we're running a little late. So callers, after sports commentary, you're free to call in. But right now we're flooded with calls. But just allow us to speak to Craig, all right? Thank you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. Back to what you're saying. Basically, what I get from you saying, knowledge is power. And I mean, you have to learn from people around you and take the bad with the good. And I mean, as I said, you go around people, you learn it. But the problem is people willing to accept this knowledge and share it as well and transition into the know-how. Because there's the how. Yeah. The how and then the application of the how.
Let me ask you guys a question. Why do you think Jamaicans are so fast?
Are so fast?
Yeah.
I think it have a lot to do with the culture, how we go about the daily life, you know. Genetics play a part. Well, I believe that is because of environment and how we go about our daily routine in life.
That's your opinion?
Well, I believe anything you don't use, you lose. Yeah, okay. So I used to, back in the days, the guys used to walk a lot, they used to run a lot, and we that is passed down through our ancestors onto so forth and so forth. That's what I definitely.
But Craig, tell us why you think Jamaicans are so fast.
Anybody else?
I have an opinion. Jamaicans are the most impatient people I've ever booked up in my life. Anywhere I go. And there's a line, and the line is being cut. It's being cut by a Jamaican or a West African. The Nigerian, them cut line too.
But I'm slow and I do that as well.
Jamaicans, we see everything as a race. Yeah. We have a genetic predisposition to being fast. But you have black people elsewhere who fast too. But we are the fastest because we're not just fast. We're extraordinarily impatient and indisciplined. We like to get out in front.
We have a system too.
Craig, you tell me.
We have a system as well.
That
promote and market at the speed that we have.
You guys, you did a lot of history growing up.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
All right, let me share something with you. You mentioned West Africa. West Africans are impatient, like the Jamaicans. Yeah. The reason is because most of us came from Ghana, from that side. Yeah.
Sure.
And Jamaica was the first stop on the triangular trade route. Yeah. So what would happen is those slaves that were still trying to get away after the 3 months, which is that leg of the voyage,
yes,
and being in this tight and having to use the bathroom, be raped,
You're low again.
Craig,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Those who want to be using the bathroom in that little space there, beaten, fed little or nothing, raped, and treated horribly. Those who are still trying to get away, were immediately sold in Jamaica because I don't want to put up with them on the other stops on the voyage. So what would end up is this. Think about it. Anyone who can go for 3 months, not eating properly, not being abused, can't get proper air, but you're still fighting to get away, it means 2 things. 1, you're mentally very tough, and 2, your body is strong. Yeah? So if you keep dropping off those people, how long slavery went on for?
Centuries.
200 or something years.
We're still in slavery, but
200 years.
Centuries.
Let's say it was for 2 centuries. If you're dropping off those same people every month for 200 years, you're now creating a gene. And it is the same reason that we're fast, that we are intelligent, we are groundbreakers, we're brave, we're very confident, and they like to use the word arrogant, but it's not arrogance, it's confidence.
Confidence,
Yeah. It's for that same reason why we also cannot work together in team sports. Because everybody wants to do their own thing. Everybody wants to lead.
I agree on that.
Add to that, from a geographical standpoint, that the highest mountain range in the Caribbean goes through the spine of our island. So that means anywhere we're going, we're walking up a hill or down a hill without even realizing it. Yeah. Look at wherever you walk today, I guarantee it wasn't flat.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
So Jamaicans are constantly training without knowing. And then up until recently, the food that we ate was because of our situation financially as a third world country. We were eating ground provisions and we were eating straight meat. We weren't eating Burger King and KFC. It's just the other day that started. Yeah. I remember when I was growing up, there was one Burger King and it was in Ocho-Rios. I would get that as a treat whenever we go down, if we ever get to go down the hotel them. Remember those days? So
Burger King or King Burger?
Burger King, man. There was a Burger King.
Yeah.
So the truth of it is that genetically, because of history, we have become faster and more innovative than most people, right? But what we have lost is the ability to take telling from anybody.
To work together.
But, nobody don't want to work together. So that is why when Craig go and him going to Egypt and come back, I say, listen, I've seen the promised land and I know how to get there. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to listen.
You remind me a lot of Stephen Francis doing them. Both of you have something similar, boy.
I'm better looking.
All right, sir. I'll argue with that one. Yeah, but the same kind of personality, you know, you kind of stand out and, you know, you don't take anything from anybody. That similar.
And you have to be confident.
Yeah, man, for real. And I rate Stephen as maybe the greatest track and field coach in the world. And I think you're amongst that kind of
elitism.
Yeah, man, without a doubt. Because I thought you did a great thing with Bailey, and I didn't even know that Martin was on your wings as well. Because I used to watch him at George's and in the midfield at the youngster there. I didn't even know he was still born.
Let me give you some names people don't even know. Martin Davis, Kyle Butler, Kemar Reed, that is playing for Florian and now in Malta, the top team. Kimo Jackson, Kevin Atkins, who was the top scorer at Australian Landesliga. Romario Williams, that play all over America.
Romario is also from George's as well, right?
No, come from KC.
Romario Williams.
Yeah. Then now generations going. You have Travis Blake, who was the top centre-half out of JC and became captain of St. Andrews in Malta. You know, so many players have come through Phoenix. Now the next generation is 10 times better than the first. Because what happened?
So give me two names of your youngsters
to look out for.
To look out for. Give me two names, because we have to wrap up this segment right now. Give me two names to look out for the next year or two.
I'm going to give you two who can play now in the national team. Durant Richards, he's 6'3" of power. He's playing, I have him at Brookhouse in England now and play against Man City the other day and scored 2 and assist 1 and beat them 3-1.
That's Durant?
That's Durant, Whisper Richards. Yeah. There's Xander Bicknell. There's who playing in Germany now. There's Jamani Bell. There's just so much. Yeah. There's Sean Layton. There's Dylan John, who played for JC Manning Cup this year. The 15-year-old got man of the match about 3 matches in a row. Skylar McFarlane, the whole of them.
It looks like a big squad.
Listen, you see that whole squad there? Them youth there, gone past. Remember, Leon and Kyle were the guinea pigs, What we learned from them, we brought back to Jamaica to the academy.
Yeah.
The academy is now like super powered. Yeah. It's like turbocharged. We play one match today and I'm sitting down in my chair. And the coach, them again and go on, and as usual, them have trouble with me. So one of them throw, I play at the highest level. I said, huh? You play at the highest level? What are you talking about? You play at the highest level. I'm score like a 1 goal and feel so them win.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in my chair just laughing and running jokes the whole time. So when them score the goal, I'm start rail up and go and say, you know what? Let me coach for 5 minutes. Score 2 goals and go back and sit down and start laugh again.
Yeah.
Because it is just so easy. Part of the problem is the education of the coaches. These coaches should not be in Jamaica. If you have good coaches, send them go Belgium. Let them go do some practicum. Send them go France. Send them go England. Go learn.
Europe. All over Europe.
Yeah, you can't want to sell players to sell players to the mecca of football, which is Europe. But you as a coach are not educated in the mecca of football. Yeah. How that going to work? How you going to know what them want?
Yeah, 100% agree with you with that one. I think knowledge is power, and it's not just in football we have the problem. We have the problem right across the board in sports in Jamaica. We have a lot of coaches that's not really educated, as you'd have put it. But we have to cut this interview a little bit. But we'll cut it short now because we're out of time. But I want to thank you for coming on Primal Sports today. But definitely we'll have to have you back on in the future.
We'll have to get
because we have a lot more to discuss in terms of football and the whole national program and the developments of the youth.
I want to hear more about Phoenix Academy because we don't even touch deep into where Phoenix Academy is now from where it even started.
Yeah, come up 2 little youth I want to send to you, So we need to
send them, man. But if you expect them to be light by sending them to me, don't send them because nobody will like
we know sports, so we understand.
Yeah, man. Thank you, though, Craig. Thank you for coming on and sharing and telling us about your whole thing there that you have there with Phoenix and Bailey and the whole development of football and what you can do. And I hope you run for the job because definitely we need help. We definitely need help. Well, even as part-time, but we talk. Thank you very much.
We have part 2 to this interview. Yeah, definitely man. Again.
All right. And I can come on. I have a show them. I have a show them Football Unfiltered, Craig Butler's Football Unfiltered. So you guys can also come on and watch it.
We'll watch you as well. Yeah, man.
Respect.
All right. Love.
One love. All
right, guys.
Yeah,
cool. All right, cool.
Ciao.
Very interesting interview right here with
a lot of
I think this man is scientific in his approach to the game, which is needed. And
but one of the main things a coach have to do is divorce himself from the political.
Yeah.
You have to call the shots as you see them. And get what you want, and then we can judge you as a coach.
Yeah.
If you're making compromises with the management or politics, then you won't produce the team you want. I wanted to ask Craig some more about reggae boys and all that kind of thing, but the time didn't allow.
But I think we can have a part 2 to this.
I'm going to try and get him on again because he's a man who he know the thing, but more important than knowing the thing, him talk the thing.
I think
that's very important.
Not go around the bush, but now it's time for sports commentary. Let us hear what Mr. Muyong have to say today.
Well, I want to say good afternoon to all the viewers of Primal. Last week was a record week, and with certain technical problems we had with Craig. I hope we continue to put forward the numbers we were putting on. And I'd like to remind people that after commentary, the phone lines will be open. You want to say the phone numbers before I start the commentary?
Yes, it's 876-552-7406. That's 876-552-7406, and that's via WhatsApp only.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say in sports commentary is that we recently had a table tennis trials. The Jamaica team for the Caribbean champs was selected, and a lot of the people who made the team are on Primal Sports. I want to congratulate Mr. Dale Primal being the national table tennis coach of Jamaica.
He went to the trials?
Yeah, he was at the trials. I saw him there. And I'd like to congratulate myself and Mr. Watson as two of the three top flight players who will be playing in Cuba. But, I'm a little distressed because 11 people played a round robin. And if you can do your maths, 11 people playing a round robin is a lot of matches. Mm-hmm. And on the women's side, 5 girls played to make the national team of Jamaica. That means you only have to show up to make the national team. And I think that is very poor. In 2021, it is 22. I think it is a little embarrassing that we can find more girls to play for and netball team that we can find trying out for the national team of Jamaica. I think it's a indictment on our coaches. Jamaica have a lot of people who have ITTF certification and whatnot. And you're telling me we can't produce 5 girls to play on national trials? I think it's, I'm not happy with it. And I think that the association should consider whether it's worth sending people overseas if people won't even come to the arena to play the national trials. The other day I got into a lot of trouble for saying that they should have less prize money for the women because it's less effort. And I'm not going to get into trouble by saying it, but I'm saying that we have to think about, the relative effort it takes to get on a women's team compared to a men's team, and also the relative effort it takes to get into a Olympic skiing versus any other Olympic sport. Why should a man just take on a sport just recently and be in the Olympic Games? I'm not going to touch on any winter sport controversy this week. But most exciting player for me of recent footballer has to be Luis Diaz, who is now playing for Liverpool. The guy he's a left-sided player, and I don't know how that's going to fit into the Liverpool thing when Salah and Sadio come back. But Liverpool is a team I'm going to be watching now, because this guy Luis Diaz is very exciting. His passing is decent. He's very quick. He's a little disruptive for defense. He's almost like a Neymar. In fact, you know what him strike me as? A disciplined Neymar. I don't know if you watch him yet, but Liverpool is going to be the team to watch. Mark my words. Speaking of football, and I'm not going to go on the Reggae Boys situation. I was going to talk about Reggae Boys, but speaking of football, African Nations Cup was just completed. One of the pundits said to me, Africa is the mother of football and Africa is producing all the exciting players. Well, can any of you guys tell me who are the new stars that came out of African Nations Cup? My bet is you can't. There were no new stars. It tells us that the players who we knew already, who are already playing in Europe, are the only players that I found worth watching in African Nations Cup. What I tell you, say, it's the same thing with economics. Europe has gone to Africa and taken all the wealth out of Africa. I'm sorry, but it's like an oxtail that you chew up already, There's nothing left. There is nothing left in Africa for AFCON. AFCON wasn't nothing great for me to watch. I was a little disappointed because it's only the European-based players who are playing any football in African Nations Cup. I'm going to get cussed out for it. And then I have a question. After watching Senegal and Ethiopia play, they tell me that this goalkeeper for Senegal is the best goalie in the world. I don't think he's the best goalie in the world. I did a bit of goalkeeping myself. I wish the coach could tell us. But the keeper, what's his name again?
Eduardo Mendy.
Mendy has got to be the best shot stopper that I've ever seen. The man flying through there like a cat and catching ball. But you know what the most important thing of a good goalkeeper and wicket keeper in cricket is? It's positioning. I think his positioning is suspect. And we have a similar problem with our goalkeeper. Jamaica goalkeeper is probably among the top 10 shot stoppers in the world too, That man can sail through the air and save a reflex shot better than any other, but he has bad positioning. If you watch the great keepers, Ray Clements, Gordon Banks, Jan Tomaszewski, and the Russian guy, these guys are the best positioners. In table tennis, there's a player called Jan Ove Wallner. You never caught him out of position. Can you know this? He's always moving before because he knows how to position himself all the time. So if Mendy learns the skill, he'll be the best keeper in the world. But for now, I still pick Manuel Neuer as the best goalkeeper in the world. Who disagree with me, don't disagree. Big football NFL game coming up. And I'm going to go against the grain, just like Dale Parham this week, and pick the Cincinnati Bengals. Going to be an exciting game all the same. Halftime is probably going to be a little bit more exciting. Like to remind callers that the phone lines will be open in a few seconds more once we finish.
Answer the call. Hold up.
Sorry, caller. Please call back in 2 minutes. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna wrap up very quickly now. Some people are saying Justin Gatlin is a bug athlete, and we shouldn't say anything about his retirement. I think Justin Gatlin is one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. It took a Usain Bolt to beat a Justin Gatlin. I don't care if you want to talk about drugs or no drugs and all this kind of thing. The guy, when he competed, as far as I'm concerned, he was competing legally, as far as I'm concerned, until caught. And therefore, as Usain Bolt's greatest rival, we have to admit that Justin Gatlin was a great sprinter. He's been, 4 Olympics now? Probably 4 Olympics, been very close to the world record. He's pushed Bolt to the limit and probably bought the best out of Bolt. And therefore, I can't do like some people and badmouth Gatlin. Every sport needs heroes and villains. You need a Kean Watson and you need a Peter Moore. One of us is a hero. One of us is a villain. I'm not saying who is who. Winter Olympics, our teams are coming up soon. Jamaica will be competing in the female 2-2 team, the four men team, and the female unibod. The women's thing, there's a strange thing that took place. There was a hearing where the women were appealing up to the last minute to be included in the thing, in the thing at the expense of France. Apparently, in the qualification process, an event did not take place because of bad weather. And so the tailing event, they gave twice the points for, and that put us at a disadvantage. I think Jamaica was hard done by it. So we could have qualified a 2-man team in the thing. I'm normally not on the side of the skaters and the bobsledders, but in this occasion, I think we were hard done. To be honest with you, I think that France, being a traditional power, got the break because the women should have had their chance. And I want to say one last thing now. There's an argument coming up to me about black NFL coaches. Why are there no black NFL coaches? Yada, 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 yada. I want to tell you guys something. Racism exists. But there is no NFL owner who doesn't want to win. It's the most important thing of all. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is it more important to have a white coach or a winning coach? I think a winning coach trumps the thing. And the people who jump up and say racism keeping the black people out, all you need to do, put your money where your mouth is. Form a team, put a black coach there and make him form his team. But we can't be using this excuse every time that it is because of racism why there's no black coaches. Because indeed, if there is a brilliant black coach, just as if there's a brilliant black golfer, a brilliant lawn tennis player, black, they always break through. Brilliant black boxer. All the boxers used to be white, I think that they will break through in their own time. Nobody can deny economics. It trumps racism every time. And I'm here to tell you that we will have the black NFL coach when the coach gets to that position. That's sports commentary. What say you? Time for calling.
Yeah. Callers, you can call in now.
Do you remember? The number is 1-876-552-7406.
Yeah.
Callings are open now. What's up, calling? Yeah.
Let's touch on that.
Right away. Waiting to exhale. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports. Afternoon.
Conin one, what's up, man?
Yes, I can promise you, it wasn't me ringing off the phone.
No. Well, you know, once you call, we have to get your call in right away.
No, I don't want to say that because people are going to believe that.
Yeah.
Look at I sit down here and say, yes, finally. I'm coming in now and I'm agreeing with almost everything Peter said. And then Peter take on the NFL
Yeah. You know, Peter cannot leave out something being controversial. But go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing, on the face of it, what him said makes sense. It's something we can debate. I don't think what him said, it makes perfect sense. In that the ultimate goal is winning, and sometimes we overstate some of these things and we say, why would somebody work against them own interest? But my thing with it, how I see it, Peter, is that how them view a winning coach, because I agree with you, the aim is winning, but how them view a winning coach, whether conscious or subconsciously affected by this racial thing too. Yeah. And you see it in the hiring, in that some of the men them that get the white coaches that get jobs, the basis upon which them get it spurious, and oftentimes them get a longer time to show them worth. Then think about it, the one black coach that leave, him is there for 15 years? Yeah. Or something like that. And the reason him really staying is because he never have a losing season yet. Think about it.
Yeah, and we see a lot of white coaches keep their jobs with losing seasons. Yeah,
man. Think about it. Tony Dungy, I can't remember that one. Several black coaches lose their work after winning season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you think there's some hint of racism to it?
I don't think it's not. Sometimes it's overstated, but it's not nothing. It's weird. It's weird. And the situations we usually end up at the bottom of the barrel situations where success is highly unlikely. So then you can look at it just on the face of it and say, well, the person wasn't successful, but the circumstances which they tend to get put in don't set them up for success. So it's interesting and it's nuanced, but on the face of it, what Peter said, really wrong. A man now going to say, oh, let me just take a white person because I prefer more win. Now winning is important. But the thing about putting money where your mouth is and create your own team, the least likely place that will happen is in the NFL too, because the NFL is notoriously hard to get a team. Even for white people, Mark Cuban want a team and can't get it. It's a closed club where them now letting people just so it's not that as a solution now go be it to say it's a very, very interesting situation.
It's a great area.
I side with you with this one, Conan one. I side with you.
I don't know if that's bad or good.
Yeah, I side with you on this one because you have coaches that have been through it all and experience wise, and you have high school coaches getting a job in the NFL, and you have coaches who are coordinators, offensive and defensive coordinators for years. So
Cowboys always have some high-profile coach, and them not always really do nothing.
For the past 25 years or so.
Look at Andy Reid. Andy Reid coordinator them, arguably better than him.
My take on Andy Reid.
But them not really getting anywhere else.
That is true. That is true. There's some from a club for real. There's a little elitist. There's a little thing that's going on in the NFL, without a doubt.
Right now, there's a whole lot of coaches where them say if you check the Washington
Redskins
tree.
No, they changed the name.
So the coaching tree. So you have a set of men who used to coach there together. All of them will get all the break now. So the next one name again. His father was coach, Kyle Shanahan. One whole heap of man where all of them used to part, and then them just fan out and start get all the way.
Yeah, man, it's a little clique still, It's a little clique of them still, so.
But the thing is, it's business though. So it's like I might be contradicting myself, but in a way, you can't really, if a man have in business, can you fully run a man for employ, who is more employ? But at the same time, we see the system as well. So it's complicated to me still. Don't want to hold up the phone line too long, but I want to touch on the Justin Gatlin thing too, because that was another point I agree with Peter wholeheartedly. In that we as Jamaicans have this little way where we think that we are the moral bastions of track and field.
Truly.
Everybody else take drugs except you. And if you really look at it, until this newest crop of superstars we have, to a point, it was everybody else who test positive except Bolt, up to a point. Until we start get Amar McLeod and Ilian and these people for
Shelly and
the minor or major, because we know that water kind of full of it too. But still, a lot of our creme de la creme athletes have had their brush with doping as well. So we can't really look on it that way. But I didn't want to ask another question, and I will leave it there though. Is you consider Gatlin both Diaz rival and not Tyson Gate? We'll leave that to you, and we can discuss that still.
All right.
Good question.
Tyson challenging for maybe.
Big up,
Yeah, man.
thank you,
Thank you.
respect for the call.
We'll answer that question. Tyson jumpstart both career without a doubt with that victory, the world championship in 2007. Bolt realized that he had to put in more work. Came second to him in 200. So without a doubt, I think Tyson Gate jumpstart his career. But I think in terms of keeping...
In terms of constant pressure. Just in case there was a pressure in the heats, in the rounds, in the 1 and the 2 consistently.
And longevity in terms of overall, over a period of time. It kept him, complacency is a wicked thing, so it kind of keep him on his toes right through.
We have a caller.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports.
Hey guys, it's good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon,
Mr. Gavi. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Yeah, man. I won't take too long with program as usual, but Craig Butler's interview was very good.
Yeah.
Much too short though, but one of the things I needed you guys to ask Craig, maybe in part 2, is the struggles that Leon will have in England.
Yeah.
And why do we say that?
Yeah. He's going to struggle.
You have to understand the history. They're using Aston Villa to get into one of the bigger teams. So the plan is for Leon to do very well, which means like 20 plus goals per season at Aston Villa. Then he can, Liverpool was looking at him one time, City was looking at him. So they're using Aston Villa as a stepping stone to get to the bigger teams. But the problem you have is that the physicality of the league. You name me 2 or 3 players who played in the German league who came to England and set it alight. You have to think hard to think about that. You had Ozil who went to Arsenal. We all know what happened after that. You have to think hard to think of. Look at the guy at Chelsea now.
Timo Werner.
Right. I mean, he used to score 20, 30 goals per season in Germany.
Yeah.
He came to England and he's struggling to score 5 goals per season.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah,
so Leon coming to Aston Villa with that physicality. You understand? Those guys don't ease up, from the championship and all that, in 50-50 chances. I mean, Leon seems to get injured quite a lot.
Yeah.
And if you watch that Villa, I'm watching Villa very closely. With Philippe Coutinho coming in now and actually playing that same position that Leon played, right? Cutting in, on the left of the front street, right? It's going to be very, very difficult, even when Leon comes back, which just say with another week or 2, to really get a lot. I think he's going to be, at best, he's going to be coming off that bench.
Yeah, definitely, because Coutinho cementing place now with those performances and with his label and tag, we know he's an elite player. And if he continues to play at that level, Jacobs
and all those players, it's gonna be very difficult for Leon. So next in part 2, I need you guys to
question him.
With him.
Question him about that.
Craig said he expected Leon to be doing 25 goals. He said that. And I just can't see that happening in the English league, because the trend, that English league is a tough league. I must agree. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying that the intensity is definitely a different level in terms of the intensity match to match.
It's a different level. Peter touched on something really. This Diaz guy. He's a street footballer. He's like a Luis Suarez. I mean, Liverpool got a very good player in Luis Diaz. I mean, he's a top. I don't see Leon having that that metal of a Diaz. He's a total different player, and it's very exciting to watch him tomorrow. Liverpool goes to Turf Moor tomorrow up by Burnley, which is always a tough team for Liverpool. So we will see how he does tomorrow. The last thing I want to touch on, if anything, is the anniversary for the Andrew Lewis Table Tennis Association.
The AGM. I know you want to talk about the AGM.
On February 6th. Mm-hmm. And I want to say publicly that I have given the association an E, if I'm to give them a failing grade, failing grade. I don't see much difference in terms of what is happening in table tennis now with what happened under the late Godfrey Lotian before, right? I don't see much difference. I mean, Peter spoke about five females turning up, you know. I mean, I could have picked that national team even without a trials. You know, Peter's center is where table tennis is playing. There's no table tennis at UA, there's no table tennis at UTEC, there's no table tennis at JD. I mean, you can't name a location now away from Peter's club where you can come and play table tennis. I mean, when you look at what is happening in Guyana, which I think is leading the Caribbean.
Guyana is leading
now. You know, we don't see anything happening. Name me something that is happening now that is better than what used to happen before. I think it's a little same on the old, and I don't think that table tennis is going in the right direction. You know, a year in, we're gonna hear it's pandemic, but what I'm saying, pandemic is the right year for you to do your planning.
Yeah. So, and training.
You should be able to share what is the plan going forward. You had Simon on your program recently. Simon is saying that he's thinking of stopping. You know, that's basically what he's saying. You know, I mean, Simon, it is tough. I could have picked Simon, Peter, Kane, and possibly Chris Marsh just like that without even a trial. When you take those four out, there's nobody else coming behind who can challenge those four players. I can tell you, I don't know the results of the trials, but I can, you know, we all know how that would have gone. And I think it is fine. We're looking for a lot from the new association, but I don't think table tennis has gone well for the first year. And we don't hear about any plans, so more than likely, the rest of the years to come, table tennis is going to go further and further in the hole.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, thank you.
Well, I hope they're listening. We all hope that they prove us wrong in that regard.
Well, all right, Keith, thank you. I don't fully agree with the statement. I do understand where it's coming from, but you know, you can't look for immediate success after 20, 30 years of failure. You understand? This is probably even more than that. I think table tennis has been failing from the 70s come right up, if you ask me. So I don't think 1 year is sufficient enough for you to expect certain type of changes, especially with a COVID situation. I do agree in terms of hold on. I do agree in terms of like information. You know, the student association might not have been putting out information and so forth, but in terms of actual change and talking about players and five girls and five this. That's not a result of the new administration. That's a result of something that's been happening for decades now. Table tennis has been on the decline from the 80s when these guys started to leave the sport at a young age because of financial reasons, right? So let us not just jump to blame one admin right now. Let's give them some time and let us...
But how much time is time though?
Listen, we have been failing for 40, 50 years. There's no money. There's no money. That you have to give them some time. I don't agree that you can just say, because 5 players turn up for a championship. No. It has been on the...
That was not my argument, you know?
No, not your argument. I mean what Keith is saying. Yeah. If you look at it, you know, when you came up, Kane, you had maybe 2 or 3 persons hanging around. Back in Chris time, you probably have 6. Mm-hmm. As the time go along, it's dwindling down little by little. Because there's competition out there, there's education. Table tennis don't have enough incentives.
Yeah, it doesn't have a pull factor.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So you're going to find a decline over time. So I don't believe in this blame game. You can't just blame one administration. I do agree that they need to be more innovative with certain things and in terms of information. But
we still have 1 minute or 2 minutes.
I hear mention Guyana. I have a Guyanese that really want continue.
When
say your part.
Well, let's hope he calls it.
Say your part.
Let me just say this.
Because I think the Caribbean is lower than Jamaica.
Let me just
say English speaking.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, the Ministry of whatever the Ministry that controls sports.
Hold on. What the caller now? Durant Dick, the coach from Titans in Guyana. What's up, man? You're on Primal Sports.
Yeah, man. First of all, I must say congratulations to you guys for having such a great program, man.
Yeah, respect.
Very great program.
Respect.
Yeah, so we want to touch on the state of table tennis in the Caribbean. But first, tell us about Guyana, the state of table tennis in Guyana. We'll have 1 minute doing.
Okay, well, if we were to talk about the ups and downs and the present state in general, right, we can say right now we're up because of, we recently had a player that was, let's say qualified for the Olympics, or attended the Olympics, so to speak. And I think that in itself is good for table tennis, not just in Guyana, but for the region. And I'm hoping that we can build on that. We can, go with that momentum and see ways that we can take it forward. Because right now it's the same situation in Guyana. Presently, we really don't have anything. It's very dysfunctional association, and it has been like that for the longest while. What you would find is that it's a very, what can I say, a very, and I've been seeing it in most of the Caribbean countries too.
English speaking.
Information coming out from these associations.
All right, Dwayne, sorry to cut you for a minute here, but I want to ask you a question. What do you think about the Spanish dominating the Caribbean table tennis overall? Because I see where they have set a date for the under-19 championships in May. And that championship in May would coincide with exams, which is CSEC and also A-levels and CAPE. So what's your thoughts on that? The Spanish pretty much ignoring the rest of the English-speaking Caribbean in terms of setting dates and in terms of equipments and sponsorship and all. Tell us about that part.
Well, okay. What I would say is that, first of all, the English-speaking Caribbean, which Guyana is a part of, I think that what we're not seeing is enough collaboration from these countries, right? We, as the English-speaking body, we should have a more collective voice, right? We should have been approaching the body and say, well, look, we play an important role here too. And anything that happens, we must have a say, or we must be considered, right? But that is not happening because the president of the CRTTF, we don't even know where he is or what he's doing, what's the general aim or vision for the Caribbean. So that is why we're in this quagmire. We just don't have a voice. We don't exist.
Okay.
We just attend tournaments or make trips to those tournaments. And that is it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the solution is for us to come together as English speaking to try to
to lay the cards on the table.
All right. Deal.
Make the mark.
Dwayne, this is Peter Mo Young.
Yes.
I would like to extend an invitation for you to come on Primal with probably somebody from Trinidad, so we can talk about the region as a whole. You would you accept that invitation?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna have to have you on because we are in overtime now. We have gone past the time, but we're glad you came on. So we could at least get an indication of how you feel.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Dwayne. We'll talk next week.
Yeah, bless up, Primal.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
Respect.
Yeah, man.
So I guess next week's show we'll be talking more about table tennis. Caribbean Championships coming up.
So,
Cuba.
Yeah, let's check in with our friends in the islands. Let's bring them all together.
Barbados, Guyana.
St. Vincent.
St.
Lucia.
Yeah.
We got connections, so we'll bring them on.
And seeing that the Caribbean Table Tennis Championships is coming up in early March.
Yeah.
Next week we'll prep for that along with we'll have our Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
So
let's go around the table. Super Bowl winner.
Of Cincinnati, 24-21.
And Super Bowl winner?
LA Rams 21-17. MVP Cooper Cup.
You outvoted 2-1. Bengals. Let's see tomorrow.
We'll see.
Cheers.
Go to the shop, people. Go to the shop.
All right, thank you. That was. We come to the end of another exciting episode.
Thank Randy for the 5 minutes. All right?
And we have to thank our DJ, Uncle Randy, for extending the courtesy of giving us an extra 5 minutes to talk and discuss.
Thanks again to Kirk Butler for coming on Primal. Thanks to the callers. Thanks to the viewers. One love here from
Remember,
Primal.
look out for us next week, 4 to 6.
Same time. Big up. One love from Primal.